Development Corporation. We want to have a conversation with him on quite a number of issues, and we're excited that he has joined us here in the studio this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest is Mr. Charles Owusu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
By His grace, you're doing well.
Good to know, and it's great to have you here in the studio. How is the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation doing?
We are doing very well. We're doing very well.
That's good to know. So we know that there is an event, right? And we just want to say congratulations, on that groundbreaking event. Can you brief us on the significance, of that event?
Thank you. And let me take this opportunity to greet your listeners and also to you yourself and your team here. So the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation is a project that was birthed by the president since 2017 and was one of the policies that he outlined. I think the one that Ministry of Energy got was to make Ghana the Rotterdam of Africa, said the president then. So Honorable Boachi Ajako then took the initiative to see the feasibility of it. I had a task force to really undertake a study to see whether this would be possible or just a mere talk. So upon a thorough research, it became real that this project can be done in Ghana. So the team went to Malaysia and Singapore, others went to Rotterdam. Upon their return, there was a thin line that we needed to have an agency or a body that would spearhead the whole project, not sitting in the ministry nor at the presidency as a unit.
Right.
And that gave birth to the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, which is a statutory under the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation Act 2020, Act 1053. And based on that, the board was inaugurated in September 7, 2021. And right from there, the board started engaging investors and all of that. So what happened last week, Monday, 19th August, was to break grounds, because prior to the groundbreaking, an agreement had been signed on the 18th of June with this Chinese consortium to start the phase one. The Petroleum Hub seeks to construct 3 refineries with a capacity of 300,000 barrels per stream day. That will give you 900,000.
Right.
Then we're looking at 5 petrochemical plants that will supply fertilizer, will support our pharmaceuticals, will support our automobiles, lubricants, and cosmetics. And then we are looking at storage, 10 million cubic meters in terms of capacity size, and a jetty, at least 2 of them with multiple berths. These are what we call the key infrastructure. And we have the ancillary. So we have transportation, looking at road, rail, and air. That's an airport that will be around the place, an airstrip within the enclave. Then we come to utilities. We are looking at waste treatment, water treatment, and a power plant between 1,000 megawatt to 5,000 megawatt that will serve the entire enclave. Then we are looking at settlement, residential and commercial areas that will house banking, insurance, and malls and other recreational activities. So put all this together, that gives you the hub, and it's estimated to cost $60 billion US.
Yeah.
And it's going to sit on a 20,000 acre land and create about 780,000 jobs. Because of past experience and how mega this project is, it's been phased into 3. So we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And the phase 1, that is estimated to cost $12 billion US, is what was signed on the 18th of June. And the 19th of August, the president cast out for its commencement. So the Petroleum Hub concept is what I've summarized. And the idea is export-driven, is to be able to serve the West Africa market and the continent in accordance with the Africa Continental Free Trade. So that was the vision of the president then. So basically,
so essentially, it has to align with government's vision of making Ghana a petrochemical hub in the West African sub-region.
Exactly.
And probably beyond.
More like an energy provider,
right,
within the ECOWAS and the continent as well. So that's how you rightly put it. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, so looking at construction, do we have timelines for the construction?
Yes, as I said, so each phase has a 5-year time span.
Okay.
And so, but with this current consortium, per their development plan, it's going to take them 48 months. So that is 4 years. But if they are done and proud to commissioning, they still have a 1 year as a buffer or as a grace period for them to work. But technically, from where we sit, each phase has a 5-year time span to be able to complete.
So within about the next 15 years, it should be fully complete. And within about the next 5 years, phase 1 should be done.
Yes. And
Or?
yes, or because the project is mutually exclusive. So depending on the availability of investors.
Right.
So assuming now we've signed phase 1, maybe 6 months from now, phase 2 is onboarded. 6 months from now, phase 3 is onboarded. It means averagely the 15 years they will be done. Like 7 years, all the
All the
3
phases will be
run.
done.
Exactly.
Because if we're able to get that to happen, it will be done concurrently.
Because
if I'm not mistaken.
each phase does not depend. Each phase is
Independent of the
run.
other.
Yes, please.
Right. So how will the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation ensure environmental sustainability and social responsibility in the implementation of this project?
Thank you. So when you come to PADC, as part of our core values, we have sustainability in there. It tells you that we've taken the environment seriously, and we have a department or a division known as the sustainability division.
Right.
And we have 2 main pillars. So our pillar 1 is that in as much as this project is going to impact our economy, we are mindful of our environment. And our pillar 2 is also to empower people through what we call the local content maximization. What do we seek to do with our environmental sustainability? If you take the entire 20,000 acre of land, instead of covering it with bricks and mortar, we are going to plant trees, about 500,000, which we've done that with Forestry Commission to give us the specific species that we'll use to plant. And once that is done, it gives us the concept of reducing emission and also help us to go into carbon footprint trading or the carbon trading activity. So it tells you that we've taken the environment seriously and we're going to work in line with the SDG goals, and that is what we seek to do at PAGC.
Okay, so talking about businesses, Ghanaian businesses, and the opportunities that may come about. What kind of opportunities will this project create for such business, especially SMEs in the petrochemical value chain?
All right, thank you. So that is what everywhere I go, I'm trying to call on Ghanaian businesses. So if you look at the project, we have the key infrastructure, which are outlined, and the ancillaries. The key infrastructures are more into billions, and the ancillaries are in the millions, which are more conversant with Ghanaians. So for instance, state-of-the-art laboratory, hospitals, hotels, banking squares, malls. These are things Ghanaians can do. What we are trying to tell Ghanaian businesses or the SMEs is that they should come together and form partnership. So they can come in a group of 10, group of 20 and say that we want to build a power plant of 1,000 megawatts or 5,000 megawatts. We want to build the waste treatment. We want to build the water treatment. We want to build roads and tow it and then get and recoup our returns. But we don't want Ghanaians to sit back and after everything is done, we come back and complain that all the business are be given to foreigners. So that is what we are calling on them. Our office in Accra is in 335 Place, 8th floor, or we can be reached at www.padc.gov.gh or info@padc.gov.gh. So we are available and we are ready to help them to assist as to how they can partake in this whole businesses.
Right, and in calling on all of these businesses to come to you, come and talk to you and see the proper way forward and all of that. We also told that about 780,000 jobs are going to be created as a result of this. Can you help us understand how that will come about, the kind of jobs that will be created? I mean, walk us through all of that.
Thank you. So this 780,000 jobs was something that LUSPA, Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority, actually estimated it. They have a way of doing it.
Okay.
If you listen to the president's speech on the 19th of August, he even mandated us to start training of 200,000 immediately to make them available for the phase 1 takeoff. How are we going to do this? And must everybody bring their CV to Accra if I'm in Tamale, if I'm in Volta region? So what we are trying to do is to come up with a portal, which we call the data repository, which next month we are going to launch it. And this portal serves all manner of employment. So we have artisans, we have internship, we have professionals, and we have graduates.
Okay.
So we're going to launch this portal and take people through. We'll go through all the regions to sensitize people as to how they will use it. So we have the USSD type, we have the web, and we have the app. So it's in for everybody. Now everybody can do Momo, the list of it. So that's why we designed this portal in accordance with how people can be conversant with using this portal. So we have the USSD, we have the web, and then we have the app. And next month we are going to launch it so that we don't need to be carrying CVs and some who will find their way in the dustbins and all of that. And we also make it transparent. So if we have a dashboard that will be able to showcase, we can come here in the studio and showcase to everybody to view that, okay, we have 1 million people. Out of this, 60% are male, 40% are female. They are coming from this region, this and that. It has all that regional balances to even to district. That's how we drill it down for it to be able to make it possible for us to pick people. Once that is done, then between the portal to the investor is where we do the training and certification. So we are in discussion with TTU, that's Takoradi Technical University, and we've even taken them to Malaysia and Singapore to understand how this midstream and the downstream training are being done, because they've been doing the upstream since we discovered oil from the production in 2010. And so we took them to Malaysia and Singapore to understand how this midstream trainings are being done and the certification. So that's where we are going to rely on. In the Western region, we are looking at Half-Asne Technical, Kikam Technical, and Takoradi Technical University as our main training grounds or centers.
So is there any kind of community engagement, encouraging community participation, especially around the areas where this petroleum hub is going to be situated?
Great, yes. So when it comes to community engagement, I can say a lot has been done. Because prior to the corporation coming into force, there were 3 preparatory activities the ministry put in place. So we're looking at the land acquisition.
Okay.
How do you acquire this 20,000 land compulsorily? So there were a lot of community engagement by the land consultant and land commission. Then you come to the environment. The EPA did what we call the C, Strategic Environmental Assessment. There were a lot of engagement that EPA did before coming out with their report. And the last one was the Spatial Plan and Structure, which LUSPA did, that Land Use and Spatial Plan Authority. There were a lot of engagement. Then when we also came into office in 2021, there's been a lot of engagement, especially the 12 affected communities, which even last week, I just returned to Accra Saturday after the ground break on Monday. Tuesday, I engaged 5 communities. Wednesday, I engaged another 5. So there's been constant engagement with this committee to get their feedback. And if you check the president's speech, most of their feedback found their way in the president's speech. Right. For instance, compensation, they've been complaining. So president announced that we should start with 200 million cedis as part payment for their compensation. The name of the project currently is Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. President proposed that it be renamed to JOMRO, Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. These are feedback from the community. Right. Secondly, they've been complaining that most of the times headquarters are far away from them, and it's in Accra and the project is somewhere. The president said, yes, the headquarters for the Petroleum Hub is going to be in Jomro. So these are the feedback based on the engagement we have with them, kind of give us this feedback, and then when we shared with the president and the ministry, the president listened to them and then did that exactly for them. So these are some of the engagement we've been doing over the past 3 years with the community. So
right. And you earlier mentioned that, businesses, SMEs, should take advantage, of this opportunity, come to the office, talk and all of that. So on that score, what is the investment model, for all of this, and the businesses who are interested in making sure that they are part of it? I believe that in term, they will also be creating their own jobs and all of that. What is the investment model, and, how can all of these companies and businesses invest in the project?
Thank you. So, as I said, this is a unique or novel model that government is trying to implement, even in Africa. So, it's under the umbrella PPP. So, in that unique
private-public partnership.
Yes.
Right.
And with a key infrastructure, with a refinery, petrochemical plant, storage, and the jetty, we are looking at build, own, and operate. So it's not a BOT. You know, those days they will build, at the latter part they transfer to government when the assets are fully depreciated, almost at its depreciation end. And then we have the ancillaries, so the utilities, the settlement, the transportation I spoke about, and the LNG terminals and all of that, and joint venture. And this time we are not doing build, own, and transfer.
Yeah.
So the joint venture are in perpetuity, and government interest in a minimum of 10% in it.
Right.
So these are the joint venture that or what we call the ancillaries. We are calling the Ghanaian businesses to come on board, partner PADC, a minimum of 10%, and together we'll do this ancillary, because these are common usage. Because everybody, if you have power plant, all the phases will be using it. If you have waste treatment, all the phases will be using it. If you have water treatment, and the likes of the roads, the rail, and the air. So that is what we are calling on Ghanaians. So that's our business model. It's not going to be I'm doing it and a later they transfer to government. Then it also impacts in your decision making. But this time we are in that relationship till that kingdom comes. So basically that's how it's being structured.
Right. And you earlier gave the location of your office and all of that. I want you to go over that, you know, so that people know exactly where to find you. So let's go over it. You know, how investors and the general public can get in touch with the PHDC.
Yeah, so in Accra, we are in Joru, 335 Place, 8th floor. And in Jomro, we are on the Half Asne Main Road, Nauli, to be precise. That's where our offices can be located.
Okay.
And in terms of the modern ways, if you don't want to come to the office, you can go to our website, www.padc.gov.gh.
phdc.gov.gh.
If you want to send us an email, it's info@padc.gov.gh.
Okay, so you just add info.
Yes, info
just
at
add info at
phdc.gov.gh.
Yeah. And you can send an email there, right? Are there numbers out there that people
Yes,
can call?
number they can call 0543 11 29 11.
11 29 11
0543.
Okay. So, I mean, finally, for Ghanaians, you know, for the general public, for the people in the Jomoro area, those in the Western region, you know, regarding the potential that this project has, right, of impacting the country's economic growth and all of that, what would be that final message as we're wrapping up this interview?
Thank you, ma'am. Final message will be that even on the 19th of August, the people of Jomoro felt it, because hotels were full, every food got finished, so they started feeling the economic impact, and this is going to impact our agricultural sector, our automobile, our financial services, our aviation, and even the normal petroleum supply chain. And so what I'm telling the people of Western region is that we are grateful for the acceptance, especially the regional minister for supporting us to get this thing done. We are also grateful to the MC at Jomoro, the MP at Jomoro. They've all been supportive in seeing this day that we're going to have this business take off in Jomoro come next month. So that's what I'll say. I'm grateful to them. Very, very grateful.
Well, we're grateful to you too that you joined us in the studio this morning for us to have this conversation, Mr. Owusu. We wish you all the best, and we are praying that very, very soon we see this project come into fruition. We see it, and we see it working, and of course, Ghana begins to reap the benefits of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Mr. Charles Owusu is the Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, joining us in the studio for us to talk about the Petroleum Hub. I'm pretty sure you may have heard of it when the president cut short, and was widely reported both on local and international media, just because of how ambitious this is and the potential that this project has for the West African sub-region, potentially even the African continent. And Mr. Charles Owusu has just been engaging us on this, and that brings the time to 9 a.m. here on the Morning Star.